guys, Jeanette Vilda again. So this is another look at the wax seals from Craspire, and I mentioned in the last video that what I was going to show you is some techniques that I use with my wax seals. Specifically, what I want to look at is ways of putting your wax seals on your different elements such that they're reusable. And what I mean by that is, you get an envelope, you put a wax seal on it, and of course then the only way to then open the document is to then break the seal, which of course then you don't have the pretty seal on it, the person can't save that kind of thing. If they're lucky, they can, kind of rip it up, but I have some other ways to do this. So the first one I'm going to use is a magnet. And this is being held together. I'm going to grab my magnet since I didn't grab that. It's being held together with a magnet. So and I didn't put the wax seal too far down. I mean, you could put a lot farther down so that it looks a lot more like it's really holding it closed. But as you can see, I don't know if you can hear that little snap, but that's the magnet that's holding it down. And so you have the look of the wax seal holding it onto holding the envelope closed, but you don't have to break the seal, rip the paper, or anything like that, and then they can keep it. It still looks nice and pretty, and it's usable as a closure for your envelope. So how do I do this? One thing, of course, is to have really, really tiny magnets. They need to be small enough to be hidden in the wax. These are, oh boy, I think they're like 1/2 millimeter by 1 millimeter. Could get no, they're not. They're, yeah, 1/2 by, yeah, they're, so these are really tiny. I could look up, just exactly what the size was, but basically I found the tiniest in terms of depth and width that I could find. This is, what is it? Made in China, so you could probably find it. So there's the package. And I've gotten these many times. I really like them. They're very strong, as you can see, really strong. So they can withstand a lot of paper in between, which means they work really nice with the wax. There's 2 ways to do this. Sorry about the squeaky chair. Grabbing something else out of my bag here. You could have a magnet on each side. So if you really need it to be super strong and really hold together, you can put a magnet in the wax seal and a magnet. Of course, I hid it inside the envelope, or however you're using this. This one isn't very strong. You can see it's not holding it terribly strong because I only used the magnet in the wax seal. I really didn't care if it was all that strong. I just wanted it to basically hold it shut. So I wasn't looking for strength. So the way that I do that when I'm not looking for strength, then I want to waste all of my magnets. So I get these little guys, and you can get these at the hardware store. I found mine on Amazon. It's just metal blanks. And, the magnet sticks very nicely to them. So you can have the magnet in here, and then on the other side of the paper I had this. It reduces bulk because even though these are pretty tiny, they're still, much thicker than the paper. So this reduces bulk. However, as you can see, it's not as strong. Of course, the other problem is that the wax does, cover up a lot of the magnet as well. but it's not quite as strong, but it works. So if you don't need the extreme strength, you just want it to nicely hold it shut, so it holds it shut, then you can use these little blanks, and then you don't waste your magnets. And all I did there was, it's just, if you can take a peek inside, there you go. It's just taped in there. So that part's simple. So let's see how we do the magnet. Let me pick some. I'm going to go with black. So where is my black? No, that's gold. Oh, here it is. Here's my black. I'm running out, so maybe what I'll do actually is go with this really dark brown. So I'm just going to put a few guys in there and light my candle. These nicely heat up and melt pretty quickly. I'm also going to grab me my toothpick so I can stir it. Sorry about my chair, makes lots of noises. Squeaky chair. I like these toothpicks instead of just plain toothpicks because you've got the short end for pokey and you've got the flat end. It makes a really nice stir. I use this for paints and of course for doing my wax seals. So there's two ways to do this. It depends on you and how much you want to anchor, or if you're worried that if you were to put the seal farther on so that it really looks like it's on, you know, holding the two pieces together, then it doesn't matter, or sorry, if you do it like mine, just a teeny weeny little bit of the seal is showing, right? So I didn't need to hide the magnet. If I'm going to put it a little farther forward, so that maybe it's like half and half on the envelope and on the, or sorry, the flap and then the base, you may end up, depending on where the magnet is, you may end up seeing it here. If you're planning on doing that and you don't want it to be seen, then what you're going to want to do is first put the teeny bit of the wax down, then very, very carefully put your magnet into the wax, pour the rest of the wax, and then do your stamping. That's pretty much why I don't, you know, it's a little farther over here as opposed to, you know, really over, because like I said, I don't like, you know, dropping it in and everything. You can do that. Use some tweezers maybe to keep, you know, keep yourself safe. But I don't really care. I usually put it on that way anyways. So, but you can do that. So it looks like our wax is melted. And you know what? I might add another doodad here. You want this to be kind of thick. I'm going to go with a little darker one, add a little bit of darker color. You want it to be nice and thick. Because you can, well, you might not be able to see, there's a little tiny bulge there where the magnet is hidden inside. You don't want to not end up hiding your magnet. Now underneath, if you do it this method where you just lay it down and put the wax over, you're going to see the magnet underneath, because obviously there's nothing under the magnet. So you're going to see the magnet. I like to do it that way most because it really gives me the maximum amount of magnet. You know, the wax isn't covering it. And since I like to use my little blanks to save on my magnets, so I want the maximum amount of magnet showing. So let's see, we have, going to use, I think, my little oval here. And I've got it on my pretty resin handle. So this is just a blank. And I'm going to make sure that I really get that magnet covered when I pour the wax. And then give me a little extra around it for the sides of the oval, get it all out of there. And then this is very important here, you really don't want it to go down too far. I'm going to very lightly hold it and then let it fall, because I don't want it to go through and uncover the magnet. Okay. So you can see I held it for a little bit, just right up above, kind of letting the wax cool just a bit. Add some more wax here for my next one. Just a bunch of little colors. And while that's cooling, I'll show you the next method. This one's 10 times simpler. This one uses, you can see I've got 2 layers here. I've got a piece of paper, and then I've got the wax seal over it, and I'm just using that as a tuck. Now this looks a little, not quite as good in my opinion as this one, just because this one really looks like the wax seal is holding my envelope closed. Whereas this one, you know, with the 2 layers, you can tell that there's something else holding that together. So let me see here. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, sorry. So what I've got is some craft paper, and this is nice and heavy. You can see here it's good and heavy. And I'm just using these little deco scissors, and you can see it's kind of just random. The reason I'm doing that is I just like the look. You can obviously use a punch out a circle, however you want to do that. And I'm just going to see if I can get this in. I'm just roughly making a circle. I want it to be big enough to hold my stamp on it. But other than that, I'm not worried too much about the shape. So I just cut myself there a little circle. Let's check this guy. I haven't used, so there we go. And you can see, you can't see the magnet. Looks really great, huh? And now I can peel this off. And this is a silicone mat. You can use any kind of silicone mat that you've got available to you. Mine just happens to be We Are Memory Keepers. It came with my fuse. Let's see if I can push that up there. Yeah. So I just use it. And now on the back, there you can see is my magnet. And I get a little impression from the silicone mat, which doesn't bother me because that's going to be hidden anyways. But see, doing it this way, you can see the magnet. Again, to hide it, put a little bit down. Put your magnet on it. Pour the rest of it over and do your stamping. But look at that. From this side, you can't tell if there's a magnet in there at all. And now when I put it on my envelope, I can use another magnet or use my blank. And as you can see, I will be able to close up my envelope and have it reusable over and over and over again. Okay. So that's how I do that with a magnet. So now this one, what we're going to use, let's see, where's my kitty? Really liked that kitty. Where's the kitty? Where's the kitty? I need to organize my stamps a little better here. Oh, there it is. So this is my kitty on a branch from Craspire. This one's simple. I have my paper. Now again, the reason I want to make sure that this is nice and thick is I just want to give it some stability. It's going to be, you know, depending on how often this opens closed, it's going to be, you know, pushed and flipped and everything. So you want it to have some good stability with it. So let me give this a little swirl so that I get like a neat, don't want to really mix those colors too much. And I'm going to pour that onto my paper. And make sure that it stays on the paper. And then in goes my stamp. And again, let gravity do its work. There. Spilled over just a bit, but that's fine. And then that's going to sit and let the wax form. And then I've got my little tuck spot instead of. All right, the next one I want to show you is using, so a really fun thing with seals is obviously with a scroll. But again, if you put the wax seal onto the scroll itself, or, you know, it makes it difficult, as I found. What I like to do is make a little holder for it. See this little guy? Now that will slide on and off really easily, rather than putting the string directly onto my scroll. Right? Then I can slide that off. My string is nicely being held by this little cuff. And I can slide it right back onto my scroll very easily. So making this little guy on the string is simple dimple. So let's see that. Okay, I'm going to use this stuff because I have a project that I want to do. I specifically want to use this twine instead of the other. Let's do some more brown. Just, oops, off it goes. Put some more guys in there. Now I'm going to use my rectangle this time, so I'm going to put a lot in there. I want to make sure I have plenty to cover the whole stamp. So I'm going to switch out. That should be nice and cool. So I'm going to switch out, yeah, my blank for my ghoul. It's a little ghost. This one is awesome. Turns out really cool. Let me show you real quick. Look at that. Oh, so cool. So let's take this guy. So like what I like to do is just feel along the edges. If you get any kind of impression, it ain't done. Leave it alone for a little while longer. So there. Oh, wow. I tell you what, that is one awesome stamp. The impression is amazing. Okay, so there is my kitty. And now I have this on this little guy. I can put it onto my envelope and I have a nice tuck spot as opposed to the wax itself holding things closing again. All the problems that you get with that. So, and it looks really cute. I like that. And what you can do to add a little bit of interest is maybe take some ink, and I'm going to use, let's see, we'll use the this one. And it doesn't really matter. I'm just using some Distress Oxide and Vintage Photo. A nice brown, even a black would look good. And I'm just going to go around the edges. And could do this before you add the wax. Let me get that in frame, actually. And you can see I'm just going around the edges, giving it a little bit of interest there. Look at that. It ages the paper. And that looks great. Okay. Alrighty. So I think my wax is ready to go. So let's get this, or almost ready to go. So let's get the string ready. So now I want plenty of string to go around my scroll. So I'm going to give myself a nice big amount. I don't know how much I haven't made my scroll yet. That will be in another video. So we'll do this, visit this again. Let's see here. Let's cut that. Hopefully that's enough. Okay. And now at one end, I'm just going to make a loop. Actually, what I'm going to do is cut another little bit. I'm going to do that separately, and then I'll tie it on. Give me another little bit. So now this one will, let me push this up just a little bit. There we go. This one will wrap around the scroll. Okay. And then this one I'll tie to it. And this is what my wax seal is going to go on. So again, I'm going to tie this in a little loop. The loop is where my wax seal is going to go. This one wants to be all gnarly, so what I'm going to do is just make a knot on that. So I don't want to close that loop. You can see I'm holding it with my finger as I close that part. There we go, that's much better. That's going to sit better that way. Okay. Now, let's see here. Now I want my wax seal to kind of cover the loop and a little bit of that guy. So just testing to make sure it's going to cover it. And I really want to make sure it covers the loop. The loop is just giving me surface area for the wax seal to sit on. Okay, there we go. So let's see, mix this just a little bit because I really like the kind of mixed, don't want the, I like the look of the different colors, very distinct as opposed to mixed. So you can see in this one, you can see how the different, you can see the different colors. Whereas this one was also a mix of colors, but you can see I really mixed it. Hopefully you can see that there, like that. You can see. So hopefully I get that again. So I'm going to put this to the side so I get an idea of how much I need and where I need the wax. Actually, I put this side because I'm right-handed. All right, so I'm going to start on my loop because I want the most wax on that. And now, oh, and I don't think I gave myself enough wax. I most definitely did not give myself enough wax. Okay, that's not going to be good. So this is called trial and error, and we're mostly on the air part with this one. It's gonna look bad. So obviously that will teach me to use more wax. I'm gonna let this go ahead and sit, and we'll see how it looks, which will be terrible. But what you can do when you screw up like this, once it dries, or hardens rather, you can break it off and put it right back into your spoon. It will remelt and you can use it again. So I'm going to put me a lot more wax in there. Put some wax in there, and then I'm going to add this when it dries. And the reason I'm waiting, because obviously it's not good to pick that up when it's, yep, see? That's why you wait. But I don't care because it's already bad. So let me pause this and we'll come back when it's all nice and hard so you don't have to watch it harden with me. Okay, so it's all hardened up on me, and I saw another thing. I went too far above my loop. I don't want to cover the whole loop. I want just a little bit of that loop available so I can tie it to the string that's going around my scroll. So like I said, I'm going to break this up and throw it back in my cauldron here. Get as much as you can get. And just put it back in there. No problemo. The wax that I use is kind of rubbery, which I like, but it's not helping me at the moment for what I want to do. So I'm just going to make me another string rather than try to reuse this one. It's like I said, I covered the end and I don't want to cover the end. And so now it's got wax on it. So, lesson learned here. Err on the side of caution in terms of how much wax for these really big seals. Okay. You know what? Maybe I could reuse this one. So what I want to do is I want to cover the bulk of the string, but I want to leave a little bit at the top because I'm going to use that to tie to this string. Okay? Because I'm doing this in pieces, it makes life easier in terms of making the wax seal for the scroll if it's in pieces rather than try to put it all together and then put on your wax seal. At least I find it this way, or easier this way rather. Okay, that's getting there. And so this time, hopefully I have enough, because that's totally full. Can't really put anything else in there. So this time I'm going to make sure, I really want to cover this bit. Let me get a little bit more of that off. I really want to cover this end bit, but I don't want to cover just a tiny bit at the end here. Actually, it won't look too bad if it's got the wax on it, which is why I just reuse this string. Okay, and my wax is good. Oh yeah, that's nice and good. And I got some string in there. All right, here we go. And again, put my seal down. Now this time I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go above that. So again, most of it goes over the tie. And then we're going to go up, covering as much as I can, getting some good surface area here. Okay, come on, a little bit more. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Okay, let's see how we did that time. I think that's going to look good. Obviously, I need to practice some more with this particular stamp. It's a lot easier with the circle stamp. So to show you that, let me make one with the circle stamp. And cut off another piece of string here. Those scissors are not good for... Oh, that was way too much string. That's okay, you can cut off what doesn't get used. So again, I'm going to make a loop. Okay. And then I'm going to knot my loop so it isn't all wonky while I try to do this. Make sure my loop isn't too big for this stamp that I'm going to use. So let me retighten that up a bit. There we go, that's good. Now I'm just putting my finger into the loop to hold it while I tighten that knot. There we go. Alright, let's give us some more wax. Don't need as much. I'm going to use my kitty stamp. And my candle is starting to die on me, so I'm getting a lot of smoke. That's what the smoke is from, if you can see that. So, oh yeah, that'll work just fine. Actually, can make that circle a little bit smaller. So I'm just adjusting, make the circle a little smaller. There we go. I like that. And I can cut the ends here to be the length that I like once. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, give this some turns. Let's take a look at our ghoulie. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, that's good. That's just not too bad. Not too bad at all. Might have to adjust some of the wax here at the end, take some of it out so that I can use that. But it's actually pretty cute. And I made him upside down. Should probably be the other way around. Yep. So, trial and error, right? It's possible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep playing with that. And again, I can, if I don't like it, I can take off all the wax and put it back in. You could see by doing that, I only had a teeny bit of wax left on the string. So it's, we're not being too wasteful, just a teeny, teeny, teeny bit. Not even probably the equivalent of half or even a quarter of one of my little wax pieces. Okay, so let's try this again. This time we're going to use the circle one because that one's easier to do. And again, mostly goes on the knot, and then make sure it gets all covered. And then down goes the stamp. That's much better. That one should look much better. A good one for this also is the blanks. As you can see, it is kind of thin, but it works quite nicely. So as you can see on this one, I have this little loop on the top, and that's what gets tied to the string that goes around the scroll. And all you need is if you have your scroll made, take another piece of paper and loop it around the scroll. Should give enough room for it to move along, so you don't want it too tight, but tight enough that obviously your scroll doesn't unscroll. And then tie the extra piece that we cut off earlier. Tie that around, leave a little bit hanging off, and tie that to that little bit that hangs off. It just makes it nice and easy to put together so that you don't have all the string here and you don't have to have your scroll ready. I'm going to blow out my candle here because it's dead. It's smoking a lot. So let's see here. How are we doing? That feels good. Let's see how it turned out. Ooh, perfect. Oh, I like that. That's nice. Now again, there's a little bit in my circle, so I'll just pop that out if I don't have enough room once I peel this up. There we go. Yeah, no, it went up into my little loop. That's fine. Like I said, you can just pop that little wax out so that you can get to your loop. And there is my little wax seal with my string. Again, I can trim that to the length that I like. And when that goes on my scroll, it'll hang like that. Isn't that adorable? That's pretty cute. And again, the trick there is to start and put the most of the wax where you have that little knot so that it covers it up really nicely. Then a little bit, I got a little too far on my circle, a little bit up into the circle, and then stamp. And like I said, you can get that out of there. I probably want to use a knife or something to make sure it looks nice when it's done. So that is my 3 methods that I like to use for sealing my envelopes without sealing. We have the magnet, the tuck spot, and the little guy for the scrolls. So that is that. If you have any questions, comments, you can think of a better way or see something that maybe suggestion on if you saw something I did wrong. You did it wrong. Let me know in the comments. And again, go check out Craspire. I'll have all the links for the wax seals that I used here, even my little ghoulie who didn't quite work out very well, but I'll keep trying on that one because I really want to use the ghoul. Might end up using the cat for the scrolls that I want to make and the ghoul for my envelopes. Because that's proving a little bit difficult, but we'll figure it out. But you can see it's easy. You just have to play with it a while to make sure that you get the right amount. Alrighty, so again, questions, comments down in the comment section, and if you have or want to check out Craspire, I mean, they have gorgeous seals. You can see it's really impressionable. Then go check that out. I'll have the links down below. Otherwise, see you next time.